Hello, welcome back to my birth chart basics class. Today we're going to go over the ascendant. So this is going to finish up talking about the angles. As you can see, the ascendant is on the left-hand side in the first house. So the ascendant always rules the first house. It's always opposite the descendant, and it's always the opposite or sister sign of the sign on your descendant. So the first house is the house of self. It shows your personality, your persona. It's how people experience you when they meet you. Any first house placements will play a huge part in your personality, and your rising sign shows what qualities you rise up into over time. I know for me, I have a lot of my personal planets in Capricorn and Scorpio, which is very intense energy, and I grew up being very intense, and I have ascended into a more Sagittarius personality over time, which is a lot less intense and a lot more optimistic and carefree. So, my mom has a Scorpio rising. She's very private, and she has Neptune on in the first house, which can give people like an inability to see her for who she actually is. It kind of puts a veil over her, and that can be a good or bad thing. I think it's a good thing for a Scorpio rising because they don't really want to be known. They want to keep things private, and they don't want to share and express who they really are, or at least a lot of things they don't want to show. So I'm sure she uses that to her advantage. This is my chart. I'm a Sagittarius rising, but I have Jupiter in its domicile, meaning Jupiter it rules Sagittarius, so having it in the fourth house gives me like a double whammy of Sagittarius energy. I also have Juno, which is the marriage asteroid here, and it kind of gives you like an innocent, youthful look. But then I also have Eros, the asteroid of sexuality, and this is conjunct my ascendant. I really don't know what that means, but that's interesting. And then the ascendant is at the 29th degree. We talked about the degrees in the first course I did. The 29th degree is anaretic, and it's like the fullness of the sign. It's also a Leo degree, and as you can see, my ascendant is in the Leo decan. You can see the sun right there. That's showing that my ascendant is in the Leo decan. So I'm a Sagittarius rising, but my ascendant is in the Leo decan. It's decan. And my ascendant is at the 29th degree, which is also a Leo decan. So I have a lot of Leo influence in my personality. I added another chart as an example. This is my dad's chart. He has a Cancer rising, so he's very sweet, and he has Jupiter, which is an exalted placement, meaning Jupiter is exalted when it's in Cancer, and he had the most Jupiter in the first house in Cancer face ever. His eyes were so kind, and his smile was so sweet, and I just wanted to talk about that because it's he has the Jupiter thing that I have going on, but it's in a different sign, which kind of has a different connotation. And then this is my friend's first house. She has a pretty packed first house. It's in Gemini, and she has Mars here. Something I've noticed with people with Mars in their first house in placements that are like ruled by Mercury, meaning Virgo or Gemini or even Libra, which isn't ruled by Mercury, but it's actually, never mind. But I've noticed that they don't really have an aggressive personality per se, they just are very direct, which I find very interesting. But she's a very intellectual person, and she fits in with most groups, so that's very Gemini of her. But that is all about the ascendant. I'll see you for part 6. We'll talk about, I think, the North Node.